Hello and welcome to the Carefree Blues podcast, a podcast as part of the Soccer Yanks podcast network. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Amadi.
And we are your co-hosts of the pod. This is episode 14, I think.
Yeah, big 1-4.
All right, that's what I thought. It's been a really long time since Amadi and I have done this. Not to go too much into detail, but holiday, just crazy times around the holiday. Trying to get soccer in and, spend time with family and whatnot. It just kind of, it kind of just put a traffic jam on productivity levels. So, and plus I've been dealing with little sickness bug for, about 2 weeks now. So, just now getting over that. Me and Amadi, we've finally gone back into the saddle and, we're ready to race down the stretch. So
yeah, man. Second half of the season, we're on that. I guess we're kind of looking downhill, as they would say. Got a couple packed months of footy coming up, and we're, I guess, waist deep in the transfer window. So got a lot going on. I'm happy to be back after recording again. Obviously, the Christmas period was just a hectic one, to say the least. I don't think I wrote a single article that wasn't stats based or Premier League Team of the Week. So obviously, my brain wasn't working in that way. I was definitely doing the whole family thing. But it was good to have a holiday and a little bit of a break, but I'm happy to be back at it.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Things, December was a crazy month as far as Chelsea's concerned. That draw against Sunderland, I believe, was the first weekend of December, and then the next weekend was the loss to Newcastle. So, it was meltdown city for a few fans out there. But
Get Tottenham at home in there somewhere, which was a little bit of a buoy, and then to lose to them on New Year's Day was not awesome.
Oh God, yeah, that was absolutely brutal. That was oh God.
It was brutal, yes, it was. It sucked. It was terrible. I hated every second of it. But that being the second loss of our season, it's kind of a reality check. We can all be worrying about our North London, and I don't call them rivals because they haven't been for many a season. Our North London friends up in Tottenham, they can revel in this, and they will for the next couple seasons. They're going to remind us about this 5-3, and I hope they do, because it'll probably, and I'm not even trying to be just a biased fan here, it will probably be the last time that they do get to revel in something, because their previous record up until this 5-3 win was dismal. So they can take heart in the fact that we are currently top of the table with 2 losses only, and I like to say that we have gotten over our, a little bit of a shaky period, but we're now looking towards the end of the finish line. That's most important.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I think their last win at Stamford Bridge against us was like 1990 or 93 or something crazy like that. It was around the time I was born, so it was like absolutely insane. We have bigger goals here as to what we're doing. Every year our goal is to win Champions League, win the Premier League, and just, get as far as possible. Well, obviously we'd love to win, all 4 trophies and win the FA Cup and Capital One Cup, but at least, advance far in those. But like I said, our goals are big here, but, Tottenham's goals, one of their goals every year is to beat Chelsea, to beat Arsenal. Like, that's not,
exactly.
Like, when we start our season, that's not one of our goals, is to beat a certain
team. It doesn't win you a trophy. Yeah. It doesn't win you any trophies. It doesn't get you any recognition beyond your little area in London. And just so you guys know, there's plenty of teams in London, so it'll only last as far as your borders. But I'm telling you right now, Chelsea fans can take heart in the fact that we are top of the league. We don't have a goal differential of 1. Here's looking at you, Tottenham. And we're poised to do great things, I think, in the final 5 months here. So I think this is fine. I think it was good to get that loss out of the way. I think Mourinho will remind him of that every so often. I think certain players in the team, especially those who have played in many a London derby, they'll be very, very slow to forget that. And I think it's going to act as a motivator for us.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And I think, if memory serves me correctly, from last season's top 7, the only team in the top 7 that we have to play on the road down the stretch is Arsenal. Is that correct?
I think so. I'm looking at our schedule here.
Just a quick glance going down. Aside from like Liverpool Capital One Cup game, obviously that's 2 legs, so we have to play the first leg. I believe the first leg's at Liverpool. But
Yeah.
other than that, I think the only tough game, well, not I shouldn't say tough game, but the only game on the road against last season's top 7 is Arsenal game, which is like the fourth or fifth to last game of the season. So, I mean,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Things are looking good. I mean, we still play. We have Man City at home at the end of the month. We have Everton at home still. We have Man U at home still. Liverpool at home still. So things are looking good schedule-wise.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking that far towards the end of the season, we do have in May, our April into May kind of sucks. We have Man U, we have Arsenal the following week, we have Palace the week after, and then we have Liverpool the week after that. So that the end of our season will be the period for us to really be looking out. But I mean, it's not like we don't have Paris Saint-Germain in March and February. We got a bunch of games, even if we're playing Leicester and Burnley every other week. We still have games we got to get points out of, and we're going to have a tired team, especially with all these competitions we're playing in. So
yes,
I do want us. I'm happy we've gotten over the hump with several difficult teams. We got City to come to us and Liverpool to come to us. So I'm excited. I'm definitely forward looking, and I hope that we can kind of just ease back into the form we had going on from the start of the season. I think this blip will motivate a bunch of players.
Yes, yeah, I agree, and I'm going to go ahead and go on the record and say this now, so we will go ahead and put the stamp of approval on it. People want to say that the Man City game is going to decide the title, but those 4 games from April going into May, that's going to decide the title right there.
Yeah, those games, that's exactly what it's going to be. The games, I mean, even the game at Stoke, against Stoke before we have QPR, who I think will beat, but these games are going to be with a bunch of players who are tired. We're likely going to have injuries. We're going to be competing on all fronts. Like Jose's going to be, there's going to be a lot of press surrounding us, as there is every year, because we compete in so many competitions like the Champions League, and we're always in the hunt, even with a weak team last year for the Premier. People, as you've probably noticed, aren't really pro-Chelsea in the media, in the punditry. So there's going to be a lot of talk about how Chelsea are going to falter. Like, is this their time to stumble? Even during our time the past month when we lost to Newcastle and Tottenham, people were talking about Chelsea being in crisis. And with the way we've played this season and the goals we've scored and the confident manner in which we've taken apart teams and won clean sheet after clean sheet, you would expect them to say, no, this is just a blip. But no. The media tends to love a crisis at Chelsea, and I think it's good that we can shut a lot of those people up, or we have the opportunity to do so.
Yes, exactly. All right, and you reminded me before the pod of a topic that we should touch on that I totally forgot about, and that is the media campaign that Mr. Sir Mourinho has made a point of. And so just go ahead, what you were sharing with me.
About Jose?
Yeah, about the media campaign against Chelsea and his words and just your thoughts on it in general.
Honestly, I mean, until Jose had mentioned it, I honestly didn't think too much of it. I guess I'd kind of taken it for granted, but I feel like there's a certain stigma that the media have with Chelsea and giving them their just desserts and their proper praise, which are very merited. I don't know if you've noticed, but besides the first couple of months, we haven't had a player nominated for Team of the Year, for Player of the Month, rather, or even despite the fact that Hazard has easily been the best attacking winger as far as take-ons are concerned. And the league-leading assister is obviously Cesc Fabregas. League's leading goal scorer is obviously Diego Costa. I feel like these players should be getting more recognition. I also feel like Jose kind of has a thing. He's kind of right in that the media and pundits don't give Chelsea the benefit of the doubt and don't focus on our good, but rather would focus on the bad when it comes to us. Because there is so little bad that when it comes to it, if they're going to focus on it, they kind of drub it out for a good week. Whereas a proper analyst or someone who is interested in the game and not the team would talk about how well we've been doing, how many goals we've been scoring. Far more stories that are in there and worth talking about than, diving. So, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I think us being in first place since like the third game of since match day 3 or something. I think on match day 2 we were tied for first, but we were behind on goals for something like that. I forget how exactly it was, but I think it was like match day 3. Ever since match day 3, we have been top of the table, and I think that that's a major factor in it, and just the fact that City hasn't. I don't know if they've been top of the table at all this year. I for some reason I want to say that Tottenham was top of the table in match day 2. I could be completely wrong, but yeah, I mean, City's been playing catch up all season pretty much, and they kind of get thrown on the back burner. Same with even looking back at last season. I think out of everyone in the top 4, they led the league the least number of days.
Yeah.
But really, all that matters is who's number 1 on match day 38. So, I mean, I feel that since City's been playing catch up, that there just hasn't been. I shouldn't say there hasn't been much of a storyline, because there's been plenty of storylines at City, but they've been kind of focusing on like even just skipping down over Southampton. Southampton should be a real story this season, and they're just not. Southampton is playing out of their minds right now, and they're in third place in the table. I remember in November or December, I can't remember which podcast it was, but me and you both said that their true test we would see if they stayed in the top 4 after they played. They had a run where they played Arsenal, City, United, played like Crystal Palace, then Everton, then they played someone, and then they played Chelsea. So
yeah,
here they are, January 15th, 2015, they're in third place right now, 2 points above United in 4th.
2 points over United, just snatched a win at United. They're a good team, and I just always refer to this line by 6 Second Savage that it's Paul Merson talking about how Arsenal's going to finish 20 points clear of Southampton at the end of the season, and the guy prompts him by saying, "So do you still feel that Arsenal will finish 20 points clear?" And he goes, "No, 15." And every so often I just tweet it at him, just so he knows that I know that he knows.
No one else may know, but he definitely sees that tweet.
He sees it, dude. He sees it.
He knows that someone remembers.
Exactly. I'm not going to let him forget it. That's the kind of thing. I mean, Southampton have been, I guess, I don't know. They've been a standout club, but they took a lot of people by surprise. But this is a crazy stat that I read after they won against Manchester United. All of the players Southampton sold last season are on teams doing worse than this current Southampton team is.
Damn, that's
And they got a straight up profit. They sold Lovren. They sold, excuse me. They sold Lovren. They sold their, I guess at the time, I guess you'd call him their fulcrum in the midfield. What was his name?
They sold Lovren. Lambert was up front.
Lambert. Okay, Lallana. There you go.
Yeah, Lallana.
So they had
Lallana
in the fulcrum. So he was, they sold Lambert, Lallana, pretty much the spine of their team. Lovren, and got in Ward-Prowse, who's a fantastic player. They got a kid who matured quickly over the offseason and also was got a lot of minutes. They got Davis. They got Tadic in there, who's become a real player.
Yeah, Tadic he's nice. He's very fun to watch.
They got Schneiderlin, who's obviously good.
Pelé.
They got a lot of players in there. Pelé, who's fantastic attacker. Sadio Mane. They got a good team. Bertrand, who we obviously know very well. Klein, Font. Down to their keeper, Forster, fantastic keeper. The guy had, I don't know how few goals he had let in up until I think maybe November, but they had the least amount of goals against. So they're a good team. They
still do right now.
Yeah?
Yeah, they've allowed 15 goals in 21 games.
Yeah, I mean it's clearly a representative of how well they defend as a team and how good of a team they really are. And the fact that they sold Lambert, Lallana, Lovren, and are still competing at the highest level is a testament to that.
Yeah, and also to add into that.
Go ahead.
To add into that, Luke Shaw also, and the one at Arsenal, Callum Chambers.
Oh, Count Chambers! I can't believe that. Yeah, so Chambers again. I mean, the whole team was stripped, man.
Yeah.
All those players are now on teams doing worse than them. So it's definitely a testament to them and to Koeman. He's done a fantastic job, and it's kind of cool that of those three who coached, albeit not necessarily together, but in similar places, Koeman, Mourinho, and Van Gaal. Mourinho's topping the list, and Koeman is coming in second. Obviously, these managers aren't the ones out there kicking the balls, and I hate when pundits say, "Oh, well, I mean, he can't be that good of a coach. Look how well these other guys are doing." I mean, there's 11 other guys out there who are really doing the work, and tactics aside, it takes a real belief in philosophy and, committed players. So I can't really put all of it on either of the coaches, but I have to say I've been impressed with Koeman because he seems to just fit right in.
Exactly, and just I think what you said really it really says it all. The fact that excuse me, all the players that they sold are playing on teams that are lower in the table than they are.
Yeah, I mean you can't tell me those players don't think about that. The players who are there now, the ones who said, "Oh, well, they're leaving us dry, hanging. They're leaving us hanging, going to better teams," and now look at them.
I don't remember exactly what the tweet was, but remember when Morgan Schneiderlin got in big trouble? It might have been transfer deadline day. He said on a tweet. Yeah. I wonder if he's regretting that tweet now.
Yeah, I bet he is. I mean, the team is obviously a solid, good team.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure ever since Bale left for Tottenham, I'm assuming that Southampton fans were probably a little worried, but they've had a fantastic time since his departure, and they've made a good amount of money.
Yeah.
So I really don't think that anybody can call them a feeder club anymore. I think that they've surpassed that sort of, stopover or, on our way to a bigger club type of team, and they're now an established team in the Premier. They're beating very good teams, and they're holding their own against some of the league's best. So I can't say anything. I can do nothing but praise them, seriously.
Yeah, yep, exactly. See, the story that hasn't been told all season, we just told you it on a Chelsea podcast. So we're gonna go ahead. Excuse me again. Again, I'm sorry, battling over this cold. We'll move on to a next topic that seems to be popular, I guess you could say, in the media, especially here stateside, with Frank Lampard and his situation with Man City B or NYCFC, whatever you want to call them. I could even call Manchester City C.
I'm not sure if they're B, actually.
Huh?
I'm not sure if they're B or C, actually.
Yeah, I mean, Melbourne might actually be. They might be B. But nonetheless, I mean, the news came out that Lampard, that he didn't even have a contract with NYCFC, which it's just, I don't know. I don't really support any specific MLS team, not to, make this an MLS podcast, but I don't really support an MLS team, and when Lampard signed with NYCFC, I kind of wanted to support him, but looking back, I'm really glad that I didn't, because their fans have gotten dragged through the mud, and it's actually really fun to watch them kind of go hide in their corners after claiming that they were going to win the title this year, and crazy stuff like that when they don't even have a full team right now. But nonetheless, I mean, fans have they've been going nuts. I think Lampard has rescued 10 points for City this season, or something along those lines.
Yeah, in all competitions, yes.
yes, yeah, in all competitions, it should be noted. So it's not all in the Premier League, but yeah, I mean,
dude, he said.
Go ahead.
He said it himself. Like, I'm not at City for any other reason than to continue playing at the highest level before I move to the MLS. And yes, the fact that they're doing well can't hurt, but he's clearly just proving that he can still hack it in the league. And while he may not be a starter, him coming off the bench and scoring goals and contributing consistently is it's a real illustration of the fact that he could be useful to any Premier League club. And the fact that Chelsea didn't keep him on has nothing to do with allegiances. It's nothing to do with the way we felt about him or vice versa. it was a professional decision based on our finances, our new team that we're trying to build, and the philosophy that Mourinho has for the future. And I think Lampard respects that. He respects Chelsea enormously, and it goes both ways. Nothing but respect. I think from any kind of educated fan, you can't hate Frank Lampard for doing what he's doing right now. And I think I can only praise him for doing what he is. And the fact that this whole NYCFC and Man City debacle went down doesn't take anything away from his character for me. I think that NYCFC got played, and I think that Man City all along, or at least the Abu Dhabi Corporation, knew what they were doing. Whether Frank Lampard did or not is not really a consequence to me. I really don't see NYCFC being a priority for him or for City, but that's neither here nor there. I'm a New York Red Bulls fan, so if it comes to MLS, I could care less how Man City B does. And I think that while Lampard will definitely do well when he arrives there, I think it's far more important to me right now that his legacy at Chelsea remains untarnished.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see when he comes back on the 31st of the month, the reception he gets. If there's a single person that boos in there, I hope they get. Well, I don't wish serious harm on anyone, but I hope that person gets booed out of the stadium or something. Like, it's just, seriously, if you're going to spend money and go to Stamford Bridge and boo Lampard on the 31st, you're an absolute joke. You are not a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, you're a joke.
I couldn't agree more with what you just said. And some people, they act like Lampard owes us something. And
what else does he have to give? Come on.
Exactly. How quick are people to forget the years that he gave us? Lampard doesn't owe us jack squat. And it's absolutely embarrassing that people think he owes us an apology for what he's doing right now. Let me throw out a hypothetical to you, Amadi. Say you are Lampard's 36, 35, something like that. Say you've played the sport that you love at the highest level for umpteen years. You're ending the end. You're near the end of your career, and you get offered. Would you want to play with Sergio Aguero, Vincent Kompany, Samir Nasri, David Silva, Edin Dzeko, or would you want to play with David Villa, Mix Diskerud, and Jeb Brofsky?
And who else? And who knows who else? Yes, it's a no-brainer, dude. It's a no-brainer. He wants to continue playing at the highest level. He is a professional. That is what a professional would be doing and should be doing.
Exactly. And since I named like 6 or however many stars for City, even say Xavi's a DP for NYCFC, it's still no question you would want to play with Aguero and company
in the Premier League.
Exactly. It is arguably the best league in the world.
Yeah. He's not going to La Liga. He's not going to Serie A. He knows the Premier League. Why would he not want to continue playing there? And why would he not want to succeed there? No offense to Chelsea fans, and I'm sure Lampard means none, but he is a professional. You have to think of it as such. Otherwise, it's ludicrous. And these same fans are cheering on for Drogba, who left and went to Galatasaray and faced us in the Champions League. You can't have both. You got to be just be responsible about the way you're feeling. You can't be emotionally motivated here. This is a black and white professional versus best possible outcome analysis. This is like a risk analysis at the most basic level, and Lampard did what I would have done, what any professional would have done. So, whatever.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's oh my.
It makes me even think that people call themselves Chelsea fans and would turn around and talk poorly about a player who's given so much to the club and has repeatedly said, Chelsea are number one for me. Regardless, even at the time. Now he's a City player, and he says, "I will always love Chelsea. Chelsea will always be number one." You can't give any more than that. You can't.
Yeah, and honestly, when this all started, I know that I mentioned that it came out that Lampard didn't have a contract with NYCFC. But honestly, I felt that when this all came about, I felt that the intentions were good, and I don't feel that Lampard. I don't feel that. I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel that Lampard didn't think that he could compete at this high of a level at this age. I feel that Lampard wanted to play at Man City and stay fit. I feel that what he said was true. But, City kept playing him, and Lampard kept finding out that he still got it in the Premier League. Why the hell wouldn't he play in the Premier League if he could still play here?
Exactly. I mean, honestly, man, it's a no-brainer for me. I can't see how anybody couldn't understand that. And yes, fans are biased, and fans believe a certain thing, and they want that to be the way things are, and that's the be-all, end-all. But I don't know. I have no other way of saying it, but then to be rational. Think about this in the most basic of ways. Players are not motivated at this point in their careers by money. They're motivated by continuing to play at the highest level because they realize their career is almost over. Why would you
exactly
respect that and to respect the player for what he's done for the club? I can't to start taking away from his legacy, thinking that he's committed more to Man City in the last 6 or 7 months than he has in the last 16 years to Chelsea is laughable. So whatever.
Exactly. And the frustrating part for me, this isn't honestly. I don't care how many people follow me on Twitter, because that's a number online. I really don't care. But what annoys me is the people that have, I'm not naming specifics, but the people that have a couple thousand followers on Twitter, just because they have that many followers, they feel the need to, they just automatically think that their opinion is right.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, it seems to be that is the crowd that is saying that Lampard owes us an apology, and just nonsense like that. Like, there's no logic behind their article at all, yet that is automatically the assumed popular belief amongst Chelsea fans because they have umpteen followers on Twitter. It's just, oh my god, it's absolutely, it's annoying. It's so annoying.
I totally hear you. It's very difficult to get by or to get through to those people, rather, and it's not something I even care to do anymore. I'm done with that. I feel like if you can't reach someone with rational arguments that don't go beyond the fact that they'll either just retweet you and then hope that their followers will savagely jump on your argument and just try to debase you with dumb comebacks. And it's almost like you're in 7th grade again and can't talk to anybody without having your followers all jump on them, and it's just kind of silly. But at the same time, there are some people who have some good commentary and some informed thinking who don't just try to make it excuse my French, a dick measuring contest or a name calling thing. So
yeah, exactly. They don't try and turn it into a pissing contest or anything like that.
Exactly.
All right, so we'll move on to the next topic now. I think that's really enough that needs to be said about Lampard. Really, we'll have the tear shedding at the end of the month after he visits the bridge. But I think we'll move on to the last two topics here. Give me, in the rough month or so that we've been away, give me your 3 major takeaways about the way we've been playing, or just anything really that you want to say.
Major takeaway number 1 is that no Matic, no party, and I find that we've looked honestly vulnerable, if not impotent, going forward when we played a double screen of Mikel and Fabregas, or even that game where we played Mikel alongside Ramirez. Matic is so crucial to us, and it kind of pains me to know that, and for other teams to also know that clearly, because when he's in the game, I've noticed teams playing almost like in a manner of high press. What they're doing is playing 4 flat across the middle in a similar way to Arsenal's formation, but instead of sending one player to the center back to pressure him, they wait until the first pass is made. And that pass is either usually into Fabregas or the feet of Matic, and they look to distribute out wide or over the top. And I've noticed that now certain teams are clogging that middle so that Matic either Matic either can't turn and has to go backwards, or he has to play a lateral ball that they immediately jump on. And Felipe Luis, I don't know if you remember from the last game, he frankly was poor at home against Newcastle. And it was because of this tactic, pressuring the second ball, that he really fumbled with some passes. But I feel like that's one of the major weaknesses. The next one is when when we're playing away, we have this. If we don't score by the 15th, 20th minute, everything becomes over the top or harried. And I don't feel like we're that team anymore. I feel like last season that was our issue, and now we should be able to play through to other clubs. But it's also worth noting that a lot of teams against us pack 11 players, 10 players behind the ball, and you're not going to see the same formation from a team or even the same kind of spirit against, for example, and no offense to them, against, Swansea the next week or perhaps in Everton the week after. We sort of up the level of our opponents, and that's to be expected because everybody wants to beat the best. But I feel like we should be able to handle that. And the last thing I wanted to say was that we need to have a little bit more of a killer instinct at the back. And I think that Zuma brought that when he came in, when he got his first start. I think that teams need to fear us defensively again, and we've had that reputation for a while now, for years even. I think Terry's been at his best this year. Cahill not so much, but with the introduction of Zuma and getting some more games under his belt, I think we could really be menacing back there again.
That's perfect transition because that was my number one thing was the defense. I really can't say much more than what you said. Cahill's been alive for more times than not. He's been a liability this season. Cahill has, and like you said, Terry, he's been playing at his best. Statistically, it's debatable that he's playing better than he did 10 years ago. But,
yeah, I agree.
Nonetheless, he passes the eye test with flying colors. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And Zuma, man, oh my God, he is just how solid has he looked?
What a stud, dude!
Dude, he's so calm out there, like he never panics. He's
like what's the word for it? Like he doesn't. You're saying exactly what it is. He doesn't panic, but the way he passes and like everything he does, it's as if you're watching him on his first tryout. You know what I mean? Like he's so collected and composed, but he's also focused. He does everything to the T. Like he's very technically on point, I guess I would say, player. Like, for example, remember, and this isn't to cut away from your thing. I want to make one point here. Remember Zuma, dude? He receives the ball, and his head's up. He's not just looking to go back when he's under pressure. He looks if he can maybe play at the feet of Matic or Fabregas or whoever's coming back to the ball. And with Cahill, I always see him go back to Courtois. And I've also noticed that Courtois doesn't have the best kick out when under pressure, compared to Cech at least. Cech has a fantastic clearance on one time at least. And Zuma seems to recognize when it's best to not put your goalie under pressure. And I feel like he can play out. Whereas I've seen Cahill numerous times this season give the ball away. One of them, granted, was in the game where he hit his head, but still. There's an assurance, a collective assurance when you have Terry and Zuma back there that I don't feel with Cahill. But you can keep going.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that. And something that I notice a lot is, as far as Zuma's decision making, is he doesn't seem to second guess himself.
Yeah,
like he seems when he has the ball, for the most part, he seems to know what he's going to do with it. And I would say nine times out of 10. Whatever he's looking to do, he does it successfully. And I think the best word I can think of to describe his play is nonchalant, but that's in a good way.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
It's not like a laziness. It's just that he's confident and he's calm and composed when the ball's coming to him. When he has the ball, as far as his positioning concerned, he's been very good, and he's even been a weapon on set pieces, on corner kicks and stuff in the box, getting ahead on it and whatnot. I mean, his vertical leap is it's unrivaled.
And he attacks the ball the way Terry does. I mean, you see him coming, and you're like, oh wow, like this could be a chance. The same way that the way I feel whenever I see Terry go up there, because he honestly does kind of fashion things out of nothing, and he's just so good in the air. It's rarely talked about, but. I mean, that's what it is. It's the reassurance that he has, is the calm, composed, and intelligent play, knowing where to give the ball, knowing how much time, knowing when to go forward, and really being a danger whenever he's on a set piece, as you said. Like, he really does just get up there, and I don't feel like anybody goes with him. It's amazing.
Yes, yep. And I think the second thing is is Ramirez. I think that the time that he's been injured, and I think he also was sick for a little bit too. But the time that he's missed this season, I think it's really been apparent. I feel that last season Ramirez played a key role into the successes that we had last season in the Premier League and in the Champions League, and I feel that he's gonna play a big role now that he said today that he's fully healthy. So I'm excited to see, he's fully fit finally. We had a run where we had to rely on Obi Mikel. Not that Obi Mikel was bad, but just I feel that you get a little bit more with Ramirez.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, on both.
I think that he's versatile. I mean, he can play out on the wing. He can play alongside Matic, which that allows Fabregas to play in the advanced center attacking mid role. So I think Ramirez being healthy gives us a couple different options. It opens up a couple windows with the squad with this season.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree especially about what you're saying about Ramirez's versatility. He really is that kind of player. And I wish we had a little bit more of a skilled Ramirez that we could bring in from time to time, but I guess that's what we have in Matic. So.
Yeah, yep. I also think that part of that is we got a little spoiled with Claude Makelele back there, but
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that it's going to be interesting to see how Ramirez is used, especially with the Man City game coming up, and we got Liverpool twice coming up, so I think he's going to play a big role in that.
I hope so.
So I guess number 3, this one might be a little bit of digging, but this is just kind of something that's bothered me a little bit. That this season's whipping boy, it seems to be Willian. And I think perhaps a little bit unfair. I mean, he has seemed to sort of lack the final product in the final third, like the finished product, like the final ball to set up a goal doesn't seem to be there. But just, I mean, he works his ass off. When the whistle blows at 90 minutes, he's still on a half tank. Like it's unbelievable how much the guy runs, plays box to box. I mean, I think that we could have better options out on the right, and this will transition somewhat into our last topic. I think there are better options that we could go after on the right side, but I think the fact that Schürrle has been a combination of not to the form he was last season, plus with him being sick and whatnot back in November, Williams really had a lot of weight on his shoulders. So, and there's been the thing with Salah that Salah's hopefully starting to turn the corner, but who knows? Which Salah in the right wing kind of transitions perfectly into the last topic of January transfer window being roughly halfway done, halfway to closed. I mean, there was a lot of speculation in the media about the whole Messi thing, and that's nonsense. I mean, it's all the craziness that came about that was all like a conspiracy theory, like Chelsea being sponsored by Adidas and Messi being Adidas' main spokesperson, and Turkish Airlines being Chelsea's kit sponsor next season, and Messi being a spokesperson for Turkish Airlines, and crap like that. It was just it was nonsense. Anyone that really believed that is a fool. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know where I'm going with this with the transfer window, but it's I guess basically I'll ask what realistically what do you think is going to happen?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I think nothing. Honestly, the fact that there have been a couple changes in our loans, we're pretty sure we took someone back on loan, sent him to Middlesbrough. The only thing I've really heard about is our youth team, and that's fine. I mean, I'm happy that our youth team is getting the experience that it deserves. And I also just tweeted something out recently from the U21 English manager, Gareth Southgate, saying how, Chelsea are a big supplier of young English development players, and they have a fantastic crop, and we've always had a good relationship. And I think that's shown a lot this year, especially. Premier League did an in-depth interview with Neil Bath, Chelsea's academy director, and talked to him about how, older and former stars are coming back into the fold, like Flo and a couple other players who they really highlighted and showcased, talking about how Terry could be the next one on the list. And I think that's a great thing. If we're going to be using teams like Vitesse to transfer out our young players and get them, the experience they need, I think we should also be sending them out to those Middlesbrough, to the, the Bradfords, to the Leicester Cities. The interesting thing, the most interesting thing I think that happened for us this transfer window is this whole Kramaric deal to Leicester, and how he's going there and going to get some Premier League experience. Obviously, he's a Leicester player, but many think that Chelsea have their hooks in him, and he's going to be ending up on at Cobham one day. So I think that any real action is going to happen in the summer. A lot of people are talking about a Royce and Schürrle swap. A lot of people are talking about a Salata-Inter deal. A lot of people are talking about possibly seeing the back of Ramirez or Mikel. I think Real had been in for Ramirez a couple seasons ago, but regardless of or ridiculous as these things may seem, none are more ridiculous than the Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
I feel like that is something, someone just kind of typed it out one night and they were like, let's see how far this will go. And
let's see how many dots we can connect.
Yeah, and every single day it was just a more ridiculous rumor. Or like, despite the fact that, Messi's been beefing with his coach or whatever the media wants to report, every single time that they mentioned it to Mourinho, he would say, we can't get him. He even did a personal interview with, I think, the people at BT Sport over Christmas break when they asked him directly, can you afford Messi? And he goes, no. After he said that should be the end of the discussion. There shouldn't be any more, Messi follows someone on Instagram. Who gives a shit? That's completely hearsay and baseless. And journalists or quote-unquote journalists should be ashamed of themselves for even printing this or having only this to print, because it's garbage. And Messi himself has said it's laughable. But when people are focusing so much on this kind of a story, they really do force you to read these pieces. I mean, to read these kind of things. It's kind of an amazing thing. It's just, I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's crazy the way that today's media works. Just like, I work for a small town newspaper, so even I've seen that, just in this small town, I've seen it. Things just pick up. Like one small newspaper outlet picks it up, and then, everyone else is just like, oh, well, we don't have to put our name to it, so why not write about it? And that's kind of how I feel it was with the Messi thing. I don't know who started it. My guess would be probably someone on the level of the Daily Mail. But, and then I just feel that people were like, well, we don't necessarily have to put our name to it. We don't have to be the root source of this rumor and say that, oh, well, we didn't start this rumor. So I think that people just kind of got careless with it and just kind of wanted to see how many dots they could connect. Messi followed Man City on Instagram like a month ago and no one said anything about it.
Last year, when they were playing him in the Champions League, he followed him. It's not really anything worth talking about. I don't understand why anybody would mention it. And Fabregas and his wife and Messi and his girlfriend being friends, who cares?
That was going to be my next point. They played. I don't even know how many years they played at Barcelona together. Cesc and Messi, but what are you expecting? When Cesc leaves, that his wife and Messi's wife just aren't going to talk anymore? That's not how it happens. That's not how it works.
I just don't get how people can buy into it and how these things sweep across Twitter as if this is breaking news. I don't get it. The same day that all this Instagram garbage was being paraded around, Podolski quietly found his way to Inter, and Shaqiri did as well. And that's a much bigger move than Messi's Instagram followers. Come on.
Yeah.
I wish things weren't like this, but in this Twitter world we live in, this is the kind of thing that jumps off and people all get all crazy about, and before you know it, there's thousands of retweets of something that's complete BS.
Exactly. Everyone has access to it, which is sometimes a good or bad thing. Realistically, I totally agree with you. I don't think anything's going to happen, really. I think if anything, we may see a couple youth guys go out on loan, but other than that, I really don't see anyone in the first team that would leave. Even Salah, I don't see Salah leaving, to be honest, because if Salah leaves, we have to find someone else, in my opinion.
Exactly, I agree with that too.
And I meant to mention this with the Messi thing, and I'll just mention it real quick, that I spoke to, I coach a club travel team, or whatever you want to call it, and one of the players that I coach is a Chelsea fan, and we had this lengthy discussion about Messi and what our squad would look like with Messi, and we're not going to break financial fair play rules to get Messi. It would be like, I think it was like £250 million it would cost.
Yeah.
And that's even if that, I think that's the bare minimum. I think that's his release clause.
Speak with him. Yeah, it's just to like negotiate with him, and then we'd have to do his wages, and then we'd have to find places for other players to go because we couldn't keep that many players in our wage books, and in order
exactly,
we would never be able to balance our FIFA fair play. It just wouldn't happen.
Exactly, and I think that I read that I can't remember who did the math on it. It was a legit reporter that Messi would cost something around like $750 million or something like that for him to come to Chelsea. Like adding up what his wages would be over 5 years and I guess taxes or something and transfer fee, and it was outrageous. It'd be like £58 million a year or something like that. It was insane. And not to mention also that we would have to sell players.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, could you imagine who the hell we would have to sell Oscar, most likely. We may have to look to sell Diego Costa, and that would probably only be half of what we would pay for Messi.
Dude, Hazard would have to go, period. Courtois would have to go. I mean, I'm thinking of young, best players for the most money. I think it would have to be Hazard, Azpilicueta, Matic, Zuma might even have to go. I can't think of any way we'd be able to keep him unless we sold 3 major players. And I think that would have Courtois, Hazard, and Matic.
Yeah, Matic, Oscar, maybe even Costa. But yeah, I mean, the fact that, and that's the thing, is just people were so careless just to say Messi's going to Chelsea without saying financial fair play, they got to balance their books. They don't care. So, it's just kind of ridiculous. But nonetheless, I read somewhere that Chelsea has something like if they wanted, they could balance the books. They could still balance the books out if they spent like £80 million or something like that. But I still just I just don't think anything's going to happen. Like you said, I think maybe we may see some loan action, but yeah, I just don't see it happening.
I don't either, and I think that's what Mourinho said. I don't want anybody to leave. I don't want anybody to come. Like he's invested in this project, and the players he has right now are the ones he feels are going to be best suited and most easily. I don't know. I guess he does have a philosophy, and he does want his players to get invested in it and to believe in it. So, the players he has right now, clearly he believes that those are the ones who are going to be able to get him what he needs this season, and to start over or to start from scratch mid-season. That's not something he seems interested in doing. So, if anybody's going to go, it's someone who doesn't often feature, and even then, I feel like he would be slow to let them do anything if it wasn't extremely in our favor.
Yes, yep, exactly. And I meant to ask this in the Kramarch thing. So is Kramarch to Leicester, is that official? Like, did that actually happen?
Leicester player.
Okay. I didn't know if it, because I thought it happened, and then I read that there was some type of, I don't know if it had something to do with like a work permit or something. There was some type of hold up in it or something. I can't remember, so. Yeah, I just wanted to get clarification on that.
He's definitely a Leicester player. I saw the tweet by the Leicester City people announcing it, so he's definitely one of them.
Okay.
And I'm assuming he'll join Chelsea at the end of the season and go out on loan to Vitesse, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, I mean, wouldn't be surprising really.
Nope, no, it wouldn't. But even so, I would like him to stay in the Premier League. I'm happy he's going to Leicester. If he's the real deal, he'll definitely be getting a good schooling, playing for a smaller club who are fighting the relegation. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every game for a club like Leicester, recently promoted, every game's a battle. So regardless of who it's against.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel that he's going to be going out and he's going to be needed to be playing at his highest level every single night. So I think that's good for Kramaric, and it's especially good if he's going to come to us at the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point.
So just to wrap things up here, do you have anything else transfer-wise, or just anything that we haven't touched on?
No, I think that we've done a good recap, especially leading back into our competitions coming up, and I think that as things get busier, we'll have a lot more to talk about. But I think this is a good way to get back on track.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was good timing because it's not, the schedule necessarily hasn't really been hectic. I mean, we play on Saturday, and I mean we haven't played since last Saturday against Newcastle, and before that we hadn't played since the previous Sunday. So it's within a span of 3 weeks we've played 3 games. So it's good that we're getting back into the swing of things, especially before we start getting back to the midweek games here, starting on the 20th, so against Liverpool. So I mean, I think we touched base with good bit of topics. So we have Swansea coming up Saturday, Liverpool on Tuesday. Got some stuff going on with work and whatnot, so we should. We'll look to pod again around this time next week, so you can expect us, barring anything crazy happening, that we're going to get back on a week, some type of schedule, weekly schedule, whether it be once a week or twice a week. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll do Swansea City. We'll do a recap of that, look ahead to Liverpool, and then recap Liverpool in a different pod. Just be looking out that we're going to be on some type of a schedule, barring craziness.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yes, I mean, so that's pretty much a wrap. If you enjoyed, be sure to follow the pod at Carefree Blue Pod on Twitter. If you would like to follow myself, you can find me at KBJelly on Twitter and at SoccerYanks.com. Amadi, share with the listeners where they can find you at.
You can follow me on Twitter at Amadoit. That's AMADOIT. You can also follow me on Vine at 6 Second Savage for all lines of post-game press conferences, funny in-game stuff, tackles, and just general things that I find are worth your 6 seconds. And you can also find my writings over at worldsoccertalk.com and on chelseaindex.com's tactics, strategy, and everything Carefree Blue for all you Chelsea fans. So if you want to reach out to us on any of our social mediums, feel free, and we definitely would look forward and would love to hear some feedback. So reach out to us however you'd like to, and stay carefree wherever you may be.
Yep, absolutely. So again, just thank you for listening. If you enjoyed it, be sure to rate and review on iTunes and subscribe. Whether it's, like I said, whether it's iTunes, YouTube. At this point, I'm losing track of where we're even at. Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, wherever it is. So just stay carefree wherever you may be. We are out.